The Nintendo 3DS eShop is closing on March 27th, 2023. For real, that means no more digital games come March. So not only will we be losing access to digital versions of 3DS releases, but also a lot of DSi and 3DSware games that are exclusive to the eShop on the 3DS. This also means having to resort to physical copies of 3DS games, which are more often than not way more expensive these days. The anxiety and panic of losing access to so many games immediately swept over me as soon as we entered this new year. And this whole conversation on game preservation is a much bigger topic of discussion, but today I just want to reminisce on this little guy, the last of the DS family, the Nintendo 3DS. Home to some of Nintendo's most remarkable releases for such iconic franchises like Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, Animal Crossing New Leaf, and Fire Emblem Awakening, which admittedly I still have not played, so I guess I better jump on that soon. I started 2023 with the intention of plowing through the Ace Attorney franchise, a journey which I'm still on, but I ended up falling back in love with my 3DS in the process. After years of keeping this thing hidden and tucked away with a dead battery, I'm now taking it with me everywhere I go, first thing in the morning to charging it before bed on my nightstand, and weekends at my girlfriend's place, and then getting sad when I see that I still haven't street passed anyone in the year of 2023. I think you get my point. I like this thing a lot. Hi. So, if you've seen any of my past videos, you'll know that I am an avid console user and that my favorite game of all time is Marvel's Spider-Man, a Sony PlayStation exclusive. Now, why am I mentioning this? Well, I feel like it's worth noting that growing up, I only owned Nintendo games and Nintendo consoles from my tweens up until the moment I started college. Ever since then, I've been playing lots of Xbox and PlayStation and even a little bit of PC games, and I felt like I was broadening my horizon and exploring other games outside of your Zeldas and your Marios and even your Sonic the Hedgehogs. I guess there was a small part of me that felt like I had grown up from this childlike Nintendo sense of wonder, but coming back to the 3DS and coming back to this era of Nintendo games makes me realize how foolish and how nonsensical that mindset is. I mean, let me tell you, the moment I popped in New Super Mario Bros. 2 into my 3DS for the first time in years, I was gone. This thing has not left my side for the past month, and I just forgot how easy it is to just flip this thing open and play it wherever I want, whenever I want. And it's something that's actually been getting on my girlfriend's nerves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the 3DS that I own is the Black Friday Mario new 3DS. That's what it's called. This is the non-XL version. It's got the face tracking 3D. It's got the little analog nipple for Monster Hunter fans and Super Smash Brothers fanatics. So this is the model that I got at the beginning of college. I traded in my 3DS XL. I had the red one when I was younger. And then before that, I had the aqua blue 3DS, if that's worth mentioning. But one thing I wanted to note is that the size of this device and its clamshell design just makes it a little bit more portable than something like a Switch. You know, not that this is an OLED model. This feels good. It feels very comfortable. But if I'm holding it for like long periods of time, like trying to play Ace Attorney, notice my hands get tired, gets kind of cramped. When like compared to this guy, this thing is just a little bit more portable. I find myself fitting in shorter periods of games more frequently throughout my day than if I were to just carry my Switch around with me. This thing has the advantage of being so small and being able to fit in a pocket as opposed to whipping out this thing and having to put it in a bag, or even having the backbone controller and hooking my phone up to it and having to connect to the Xbox Game Pass cloud or something like that, you know? This was the last time that we had something that was less powerful in terms of performance, and I feel like there's gonna be a lot of Switch jokes after just saying that. But the 3DS was the last time that gaming companies had to ship two separate versions of Sonic Generations, one to be played on Xbox and one to be played on, you know, those who only had a 3DS. And it's been years since I've touched this thing, and even just knowing that these are smaller, bite-sized games, I can confidently say that these games still rock, and they have aged incredibly well. You know, even when I was at my girlfriend's place this past weekend, we were literally fighting over my 3DS to play New Super Mario Brothers and Nintendogs. So I know it sounds like I'm talking about this thing with rose-tinted nostalgia goggles, and I am, but if there's one thing I must criticize Nintendo on, I'm talking about how Nintendo tends to open up designated digital shops for each console that they release and closing it 10 years later. You know, we saw this with the Wii, and now we're seeing this with the 3DS and Wii U, and it makes me wonder what the Switch eShop closure will look like down the line. You know, will it be like this, where there's a panic to scoop up everything that us, the gamers, missed out on during the console's lifespan? Nintendo's answer to digital preservation in a consumer-focused manner is almost non-existent. They end up remastering or remaking their legacy games and re-releasing them for a full $60 or a full retail price tag. It's something that I'm kind of scoffing at now, you know, because they know we'll buy it, and they've been right. Which is also why, over the course of making this video, I finally did it. I finally homebrewed my 3DS. Growing up, I was very standoffish to the idea of homebrewing my Wii or my DS or getting like one of those R4 cards. My mindset has totally shifted when realizing that my video game collection is already 99% digital, and all that remains of my physical game collection is this stack right here. This is it. But now, as a 22-year-old dude who has a fully digital video game collection, homebrewing just made a lot of sense. I don't know, because during the process of making this video, I couldn't help but criticize Nintendo for not really putting any effort to translate a lot of the first-party titles that have reason to exist alongside their Switch counterparts. I don't know, for some reason I was a purist and kind of wanted to maintain that like pristine console. I didn't want to have it look like I hacked it or modded it. It doesn't look like that at all upon like a normal glance. But what's brilliant about it is that like I can have all my games that I grew up with all in one place, along with ROMs of like DS games. And I genuinely believe that we are gonna see the 3DS stick around a lot longer than most of us anticipated. The 3DS eShop is closing, but that does not put the final nail on the coffin to this goodie bag of great video games. If this thing ends up having a life beyond the eShop closure and beyond its support from Nintendo, it's gonna be because of homebrewing and how easy it is to do. You know, I originally had a closed-minded, purist perspective on what homebrewing actually was, but what hacking my 3DS allowed me to do is something that Nintendo has made difficult for years, and that is to preserve the console that I grew up with.